Are you like me and like to read about random history and interesting stories of the good old days? Well, check out a book called Selling Sex in the Silver Valley about the little town I grew up in called Wallace, Idaho, and its seedy, illegal, and yet once socially accepted past of prostitution, gambling, and booze. The book, written by my previous guest on episode 43, Dr. Heather Brandstetter, can be found on her website, findheatherlee.com. Use promo code GIG43 at checkout for 30% off your copy with free shipping.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Good morning, grinders. Welcome to Guys in the Garage. Welcome back, Brady Campbell.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyway, we were just talking about whorehouses and drug houses. Yeah, I can't remember growing up being like a whole lot of drug houses and stuff everywhere. I mean, there were some, and I had friends who grew up with like their parents used to do a lot of stuff. But as far as
A lot of stuff or just like weed?
well, I mean, I'm not going to say that I haven't walked in on somebody doing coke a few times.
A parent.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're a little twitchy and, they're holding on to a straw and,
Straw. They didn't use the $100 bills.
No, they just use the straws from McDonald's and cut them up.
Cool. Well, I hadn't seen anybody do a line of coke until maybe 5 years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Went to photograph the wedding, and in the guys' room, where they were getting ready, they were doing the $100 bill rolls. And they offered me some, of course, but I'd never seen it. I didn't know what it was. And, so it was an absolute no for me. And then shortly after that, some guy asked me in a bathroom of a bar, do you like to party?
Yeah.
I was like,
it's never, hey, do you want some coke? It's, do you like to party?
Yeah. And then he pulls out a key and then snorts it off a key. That was a new experience for me. But it was hard for me to say, no, I don't like to party, when that's not true.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what you mean. I don't think I like to party. I don't like to party.
I do like to party. I just don't know that I want to party like that.
That sounds like a country song.
I never got into that stuff. Whatever. I smoked weed and did some pills here and there, but anything beyond that, see, and that's with me. I've never really had like a real addictive personality. I mean, I love food. I overeat, so that's probably one. I probably drink a little too much, but I mean, otherwise, most things is just kind of like, oh, whatever.
I feel like I don't have any addictions, but there are a few things I can't stop.
Yeah, I know that.
Can we talk about the food thing for a second?
Sure.
I think I have it's either a dopamine addiction or like I'm seeking it in some regard, but it feels like the last stronghold over me is food. And I have not been victorious yet. Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough, but that's what addiction is, though. It's whatever that thing is that gets you, that gives you that dopamine hit that you're just like, yeah, I mean, which could be anything. For some people, it's everything. And that's what I look to as an addictive personality, is somebody who just, they don't care what it is. As long as they get that dopamine hit, then they're all over it. They're all about it. And they say that the dopamine hit happens when the craving happens, not necessarily just when you bite into whatever it is you're addicted to. Yeah, because then you're satiating that craving. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if there's a level of cortisol raising in those moments too. When I think about, probably, somebody was telling me we were backpacking. Just kidding. We were rucking the other day. We were on our way back down, and I usually fast through a morning ruck. I find that whether I'm going to yoga or the gym or whatever, I just do better if I don't eat first. So I don't have extra weight, esophagus burn. But it's like, your high school gym coach tells you don't eat before a wrestling match or don't eat right before working out. You're burning fat and you're in that zone, which is great. And then when you come back, you feel empowered. Like I just did all this goodness for my body, and now my body's going to work for me the rest of the day. Yeah. Until somebody brings up that cookie. Oh yeah. And that's what happened on the way down from this hike. And some guy said, "Oh, my girlfriend's at home making sourdough cookies," which I'd never heard of, but sounds delicious.
It does.
So anyway, I started thinking about that cookie, and we start talking about the different variations of the cookie. And all of a sudden, my brain and my body are going, I got to find something on the way home. I got to find something, you know? And right before that, before the cookie got brought up, I was thinking, oh man, I just kicked butt on this hike. It feels really good. And now my body's working for me. And it felt really good until that brain switch. Yeah. Once that switch happened, I'm like, and then you start justifying and you start saying, well, I worked out, I burned 3,000 calories, so I'm going to go have 600 calories worth of dessert or whatever before you've even had a meal.
Yeah, right.
But I can't get that cookie out of my mind. And that cookie is a metaphor also for all the other desserts that I can't get out of my mind.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm in the same boat. It's been pretty hard for me too, in that aspect, to just learn to say no and walk away, you know? And I think that's where Rachel, I feel like she gets annoyed sometimes because she's like, "Oh, do you want a bite of this? It's so good." And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I don't want any."
You say no.
I do it all the time, you know?
Man, back when I drank, the best thing you could have ever said to me is, "You want to go get a drink?"
Yeah.
Somebody just gave me the right to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. And so now it's like, hey, do you want to go get some creme brulee?
Yeah.
I'm crying.
I mean, that's why I say no, because I know if I'm going to take a bite of it, I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, give me one, you know?
No, give me 5.
Give me 5. And it's
Dude,
like, no,
I can't
I'm
stop
full.
once I have the first one.
I'm full. I already ate. I'm good. I don't want a bite of your delicious whatever that thing is, and I don't need it.
So your answer is strong-willed no.
Try to as hard as possible.
There's got to be a better answer.
Just say no.
There's got to be a better answer, because it's not working out. I can say no till about noon, and then I have my first meal. Now here's what happens. At noon, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty hungry. I'm going to have a steak.
Yeah.
I'm going to satiate myself with something that is like really good for me. Then I have the steak. I'm like, man, I worked really hard this morning. I'm still kind of hungry.
Yeah.
Now I'm going for the bread. Whatever the bread is.
And the bread is probably one of the worst ones.
I don't care at that time. In this moment, we're talking about in that moment, I don't care. I'm going to have the bread. And then after the bread, now we just had salty and savory and then more like buttery. And now I got to go for sweet.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm finished with my lunch after my 16-hour fast, I feel like I have to take a nap, because I'm like, water buffalo. I'm just like,
well, and that's the thing though, is even if you had just eaten an extra steak, you'd probably feel like shit because you overate, but you wouldn't feel like completely drained and done.
Right. I wouldn't need to lay down on the couch.
Right. But that's one thing I've noticed too, is that I can sit down and I can have like rice and Greek seasoned turkey and a bunch of vegetables and stuff, and overeat on that. And I'm like, oh God, I shouldn't eat that much. I have to undo my belt. But then it's just the feeling of eating too much. Whereas if I pile bread on top of that or empty carbs, then I'm like, I need a nap. I'm not going to wake up for 10 years.
So is it like adrenal fatigue at that point, you think? Or like, is there some kind of a spike when...
I think it's the spike in blood sugar from the empty carbs. I mean, I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I know it's the empty carbs that are going in that are converting to sugar, and then just the way it's being processed, like it takes more energy to process it. So then your entire body is like, okay, I'm going to shut down everything else because I need to work on this right now.
But the body hasn't had time to process it. I'm thinking that this is just a theory.
Yeah.
But I think that the fatigue comes from the craving. So you've worked yourself up.
I'm sure that's
shove it all in, and you're satiating that dopamine seeking craving,
right.
And then boom.
I'm sure there's an element of that to it.
Oh, and now you got regret to sleep with too.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't regret it.
You don't?
No. If I do something I'm not supposed to do, then I'm like, oh, well, made that mistake. Try not to do that again.
First decide what you like to do. And if what you like to do, if it prevents you from doing that as well, you have regret.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just stuff like that. I don't feel guilty and I don't regret it because I've already done it. So what's the point of regretting it? I just tell myself, well, that sucks. You messed up. It's the same reason why people fall off of diets most of the time, right? Because you have a donut and then you go, oh fuck, like, and you hate yourself for having that donut because you've been working so hard to lose weight and not eat garbage. Well, then you just did that. Most people will do that and they'll say, well, fucked up, ate a donut, I guess I should just go the rest of the weekend and just fuck it all. And then that's what they'll do. They'll sit down and eat an entire fucking pizza to themselves and like go crazy. And it's like, well, no, you just had a donut. Like, so go work out an extra 30 minutes or something. And
so
like,
that's the
just call
mature
it good.
response. Now,
Right.
pretend that you are an addict.
Yes.
Get in that mindset, because
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out why I do that 50 times in a row. Same conversation
Yeah.
every morning.
Right.
Same conversation in midday. Same conversation in the evening.
No, like I said, I understand it because I still do shit that I shouldn't do all the time. And every time I'm like, God, why did I do that?
But you
Why?
don't beat yourself up.
Because you know better. Yeah. But I'm not going to beat myself up for it because it just means, oh, well, it happened. What do you do now?
And so
you move along.
when your brain says, well, it happened 50 times in a row, you don't feel any form of regret.
It depends. Depends on what it is. If it's something,
I'm struggling.
if it's something like, you know, if it's something that I've dealt with for like a million years and I should know by now, then yeah, maybe a little bit.
Now
But if it's something new that I'm just realizing about myself, then it's kind of like, all right, well, try to do better next time.
You moved in with a girl.
Yeah.
You guys have been sleeping in the same bed for how long?
Well, I mean,
Even before this.
since we met each other.
So is there anything I'm rolling into a weird part of this conversation. So I have to think, so as a single man who doesn't sleep in the same bed with somebody, if I'm going to have an interaction with a female, I kind of think about what I'm going to eat, how I'm going to eat, you know? I can't have those donuts or that sugar fix because for some reason I get some toxic gas.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just wondering, once you decide to move in with somebody, were you guys already comfortable that way, or are you still adjusting?
I don't know. I still try not to fart in front of her. I fart in my sleep all night. I know that. So it's kind of stupid to even worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but if you're awake, you're holding it back.
or I'll go into the bathroom or something like that, or be sneaky about it. Like she goes in the other room and then I'll let it out and hope to God it doesn't smell real bad, you know? But I mean, I try to just be still somewhat chivalrous and not just like let it rip and then pull the covers over her head, you know?
All right. So, I mean, just to, you know, to be too honest, I guess, is that sometimes my stomach hurts so bad. I don't want to be around that person because
Yeah.
you're right. I don't fart in front of people either.
Yeah.
But now I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I'm in pain and I've got no solutions
Severe
at this
gastric
point. Yeah,
stress.
yeah. So literally when I'm by myself, which is most of the time, I can eat whatever I want. So that's where I don't have a governor. It's like, so what if I get a stomach ache? I could fart if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But if I'm with somebody and now I'm like, you know, they're like, hey, do you want to have that creme brulee? And I'm like, how long are we going to be together? You know, I got to think about that because for some reason my body hates sugar. It hates processed sugar really, really bad.
Yeah.
But my dopamine seeking behavior loves it.
I wonder, and again, I'm not a doctor, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt, but I wonder if that would have anything to do with your gut biome. So one thing that I've noticed since I started seeing the gal that everybody sees, that we know anyway, I started taking...
Is she a hormone therapist? What is she?
Yeah, so she specializes in hormone replacement therapy and actually addiction resolution, I guess is what it's called.
Give me her number.
Yeah, you should go talk to her. She's pretty awesome.
Is there a promo code?
No, I would love for there to be one though.
Did you get her on the podcast yet?
No, I've asked her to, and she's just hesitant about it. Which, you know, whatever. I don't blame her.
She's got enough work.
Oh yeah, she's got plenty of clients as far as I can tell. But anyway, so she got me on a God, what the hell is that?
Okay, it was vitamin C. She put me on vitamin C.
No, it's not vitamin C. Probiotic. That's the word I was looking for. So it's a heavy probiotic, and it's called Saccharomyces boulardii. And since I started taking that like 2 years ago, I take it. So I have like a regimen for all the different supplements and everything that I take because I've figured out what they do now. And so I take that one just before bed. So, and that's why I fart all night in my sleep because it's doing its thing while I'm sleeping, and it's raising the microbes in my gut biome so that it can just chew up whatever bullshit I dump in there.
Did your girlfriend verify that you fart all night in your sleep?
She never has, but I guarantee it. Like, I know it. Because I've woken myself up before.
I've actually stayed awake as long as I can to maintain control over myself, which is also...
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why, I live alone. That's just, it's one of them is that I rarely get to know somebody and get comfortable enough with them.
Yeah.
To where I can be around them to that extent.
But see, that's the thing, though. That's one of those things where, as I've gotten older, I've just started to realize that we're all human beings, and we all fart, and we all make weird noises and gross smells sometimes. Like, it is what it is. So to be all uptight about it is just kind of silly. Like, really, the only reason that I try not to fart in front of her is just to be chivalrous and to be a gentleman, and to not be...
Chivalry is not dead.
You know what I mean?
Doesn't fart.
Like, when I'm at man camp, I might grab my bro's face and fart right in it and then laugh my ass off, But I'm not going to do that with her just because I'm not going to treat her like my bros. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So... I mean, that's really the only reason. But as far as, like, if I'm sick and I'm not feeling good or something, like, I don't care. Oh, sorry, hon. Couldn't help it. It is what it is.
I can't see myself ever getting there.
Yeah. So as far as, like, being comfortable with people, let's put it this way. Like, I took a shit at her place within the first week of knowing her. And that's a big thing for me because usually I'm like, oh, God, nope.
Door open?
I'm going to go home. No, I won't poop with the door open. I don't understand people who do it.
Do you go into the bathroom and do reconnaissance work first and make sure that there's a candle or Febreze or
Nope.
You just went in cold?
Back in the day, I would have walked in and been like, man, I hope there is something in here to spray or light, or I just wouldn't have done it at all.
Turn on the shower. I'm showering.
Yeah,
I'll be out in a minute.
Nope. Back in the day, I probably would have, but nope. I felt comfortable with her as a person, and I was like, you know what? Everybody shits. I'm going to go take a shit. And so I did. I was just like, yeah, I had to go take a dump. Okay.
When was the first time that you spent the night with her? Were you guys at one of your houses or an Airbnb or a hotel?
No, I think it was my house.
Was there 2 bathrooms?
No.
1 bathroom.
Yeah.
So that's like...
My place was just a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, so that's all I had.
So that always freaked me out too. The first night that we spend together and there's only 1 bathroom, somebody's at some point something's going down.
Oh yeah.
And it's always an awkward thing. It's like, you're kind of waiting for that moment. Are you going to go get a coffee? Or can one of us go somewhere, take the dog for a walk or something? But
yeah, I don't know. I take long shits. I like to enjoy my time in there and just relax, let it all flow. Yeah. Podcast.
Take a lapel mic in there.
Yeah. Welcome to Guys in a Garage.
It's perfect.
No, I just like to take my time and relax. So, yeah, if I spend 20, 30 minutes in there, sometimes that can be a pain in the ass if somebody else has to go too.
Do you do cold showers at all?
Every once in a great while, yeah. I've tried to do it more.
I only thought about that because
I haven't done it recently. I know you've been doing it a ton. Every day.
Right. But just like you said, you take long shits. I was thinking I used to take long showers, but now I do not.
Well,
they're like
you turn
2
it
minutes.
cold and you're like, God, I want out of here.
Yeah.
No, I usually will start hot and take my shower and then end cold and just try to stay in there as long as I possibly can, which these days ain't long at all.
Do you go numb?
No.
Okay.
I don't go numb, but I'll try to just focus on counting and just
that's
count.
The worst. See, that's exactly what I'm doing with food. 1 more hour, stay away from the donut. 1 more hour, stay away from the graham crackers. 1 more hour, stay away from the fig Newtons,
Yeah.
And eventually,
well, and that's...
I cave.
If I could find like a waterproof stopwatch or something like that I could set to 30 seconds or a minute, that might actually be better, because then I don't have to focus on the counting. I can just focus on chilling, and like
chilling.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like just relaxing and controlling myself.
So I no longer have to do any breathing in there,
Really?
It's like, no, it's a normal part of life. But there was the other day.
I'm choke on my own balls when I do it.
My balls go numb. I mean, I turn it as cold as I can and I let all the lukewarm water run out of the pipes first before I get in.
Yeah.
but eventually you feel high. Like,
so you're just taking straight cold showers.
Yeah. In cold, out cold. But that's because of my addictive behavior. So what'll happen is if I allowed myself to start hot, the next day I'd go hot a little longer, cold a little shorter, you know, and I would eventually just work out of it. So I'm kind of like black or white, all or nothing.
Yeah.
Which is very restrictive lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was really good. My body was really good. My digestive system was really good when I was doing the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And I had
You're not doing that anymore?
Well, I eat mostly meat and fruit. But then I cave.
Then someone gives you a cookie.
No, I buy shit. I bought these I don't know, these like they're fig Newtons. They got a little smiley face on the logo. Say Nature's Fig or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they're natural. And they come from the fruit of the earth. You know, and if you look at it, they're 200 calories for 2 little fig Newtons.
Yeah.
And I was buying them. They were like $6.50 for a little tiny box of them at Yolks.
Yeah, and that's funny because it always says serving size 2, and a serving is what would you say 200 calories or whatever?
Yeah,
and you're like, you look at the box, you're like, who the fuck is only eating 2?
I mean, no, and I used to eat them by the sleeve, but they only come in 2s now, the little packets.
Yeah,
but I'll slam 3 of those packets.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
you do.
Yeah,
little smiley face on there.
Yeah, and it's the 2 like big little squares.
Yes,
in a little pack.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to get those all the time too.
Well, now Costco has a 40 pack.
Oh yeah, Costco.
Of the 2 packs.
Yep.
So that was like $18, and I was spending like $6.50 for like a few of them.
Yeah.
So I upped my ante.
So I mean, you're saving money at least.
I'm just slamming more sleeves. And then once I do that, I'm like, well, might as well have some buttered popcorn now.
Yeah.
And you know what?
To be fair though, I mean, if you're gonna snack, popcorn is really the best way to go. I
also put a cube of butter on it, and then I'll finish off with some cheese bread or whatever. I make sure by the time I go to bed, I'm in a coma.
Yeah. I still wouldn't necessarily say that the stick of butter on there
it's not bad either.
Bad.
And it's not a whole stick anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as it's good butter with tons of good fats in it.
Yeah.
You know. If you're dumping half a tub of country crock spread in there, I mean, that's no bueno, but
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Did you ever used to use that?
No, we never did. My mom used to buy the country crock spread, the shit that's 2 molecules away from being plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that spray was so handy.
Yeah.
My siblings would do like they would put fruit on the bottom.
Right.
And they'd put cake mix, just like powdered cake mix over the fruit, and then spray butter the top.
That sounds good.
Bake it, and it just was like.
But the spray butter though, butter that doesn't ever actually harden. It doesn't sound like it's probably good.
It's just like oil, right? It's just
basically oil. Yeah. Yeah, it's butter flavored oil.
Creme de la oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get that stuff though, like the Orville Redenbacher's popcorn movie theater style butter. Like, it's not butter, it's butter flavored oil.
But it's so good.
It is so good.
Did you ever go to the Garland Theater in Spokane?
No.
You could watch a movie for like, I want to say $1.50, maybe even less. And the popcorn was like 75 cents or $1.50, one of those. But you could refill it as many times as you wanted. So I would go with this like farm family that I was friends with, and they were super frugal. I was going to say cheap because they really were cheap.
Yeah.
But they'd go in there.
Little column B.
And we'd buy 1 bucket, and there's like 7 of us.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd refill that thing like 10 times.
Yeah,
they'd be filling up their purse, filling up baggies, you know. And you could ask for extra butter, but you always told them, do the extra butter halfway, fill the bucket halfway, do the extra butter. Yeah, because nobody likes the bottom of an unbuttered tub of popcorn.
Yeah, my brother does the same thing. It's like, fill it halfway and then butter and then another.
Yeah.
Please.
And it ain't butter. But
yeah, it's not butter.
Tastes real good.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a while there where I was actually doing really well with my diet, and I mean, I was just doing steak or fajitas every night. Like I was living on Mexican food because for me, that's a really easy way to cut carbs and stay on the straight and narrow, because it's so easy for me to just, make like a steak fajita bowl or something like that. I'm getting really good stuff without all the bread and the carbs and the extra sugars and all that crap. And you're loading it full of spices and it tastes excellent. It's great. And so for me, that worked. And then as far as snacking went, like at work, I would just take whatever leftovers of that, but then I would always have popcorn. So I would have like a bag of popcorn that I could go throw down, in the afternoon when I'm starting to get the after lunch, munchies.
Did you hear rumors about our popcorn being bad now that there's like the GMO popcorn?
Yeah.
GMO seeds. Like popcorn's not what it used to be.
No, I mean, it's not.
I mean, I'm not allowed to have anything. And my body confirms that. It's like you can have meat. When you said snack, I remember when I was doing just straight up carnivore, I had to snack on meat. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I had meat sticks, those like chomps.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said like
so if you're not eating steak or chicken or something like that, then you're eating beef jerky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I do remember my teeth and my gums would get sore.
Yeah.
From like the not gristle necessarily, but like it's not tendon. just the teeth, but yeah, all the fibers
the
from fibers from
chewing through the fibrous stuff.
Oh my gosh, it gets stuck in between my teeth, so I'm constantly flossing, and my mouth constantly hurts. The carnivore was brutal when that was exclusively what I did.
Yeah, see, the thing with me is I can't eat pork anymore whatsoever. Nothing.
Pork's not supposed to be all that great for you.
I mean, it's not, but I mean, it's still meat. So if I did carnivore, I couldn't have pork, and that's a bummer.
Dude, pork belly would be a huge cheat for me. I was like, I'm on the carnivore. I'm having a candied pork belly.
Yeah,
that's a big cheat. I love it.
Yeah, man, I remember when the last time Josh did the smoked barbecue thing for men's group, and he brought that pork belly. That's so good.
Dude, everything he brought was so good. The pork shoulder, I ate that forever. The brisket.
Yeah. That guy has a talent for sure.
So let's say we're speaking about drugs right now. Mm-hmm. And so how does one build up self-discipline when what we're talking about, you go into like the drug world, that's how they talk about drugs, like the rappers. Like I sound completely out of the rap culture. The rappers, they rap about bad drugs.
They do the singing of the songs and the everything rhymes,
but they glamorize it to such a point that somebody's like, oh, I want to smoke the blue, blue being the fentanyl pills. Fentanyl being like the number one killer. I mean, it's crazy, but they can...
See, I wouldn't know because I don't listen to rap really beyond like 2005.
Never known anybody into fentanyl.
No.
Okay, well, you're lucky. But it's prevalent.
Yeah.
I guess my point was...
I know it is now. I mean, I hear about it all the time. But.
We have these certain things that are societally acceptable.
Right.
That we can press, we can push. Like, it's interesting. Like, when I think about in our culture, food is... totally acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, you can eat whatever you want. Nobody's going to like shame you for it. You can be a gluttonous animal. Nobody's going to shame you. Shame you. Same with alcohol. There are some shifts in alcohol.
Right. But I would say that's a huge problem that we have with society now, which I've brought up before. It's kind of a double-edged sword because I believe that we should all be free to do what we want to do within reason, as long as it's not affecting, the next guy. But nobody has the wherewithal anymore to just do it on your own. Like, it is glamorized.
That's
Everything
what I'm asking you about. How can I get the self-discipline?
And everybody has this. No one has any shame anymore. None whatsoever. Like,
if you can tell a drug addict how to stay away from that drug when they're in the drug world and it's put in front of them all the time, then you could tell somebody like me that's in today's day and age with all the food around me, everybody goes out to eat around here, and I mean, I'm sure it's all saturated with terrible oils and
Right. And that's where it's a much harder thing to do, right? Because we tell drug addicts, like, well, you know what? You're going to have to cut those people out of your life. You're just going to have to stay away from them. And I mean, you can do that. You can just walk away. You can just walk away from them and be like, you know what? You guys, I can't be involved with that shit anymore. I'm sorry. I can't hang out with you anymore. You can do that. But when you're talking about food and something else that is literally a part of your everyday life, you have to eat to live. Like, and everywhere you go, like GMOs and sugar and bullshit, hydrogenated oils, it's in literally everything we eat now. Anywhere you go. So what do you do about that?
Well, there's a polarity, and like there's what I keep considering or referring to as the drug world. Mm-hmm. That's like the dark world, and then we have the light world. We have the, because in the light world, drugs are illegal. You're not supposed to do drugs. In the dark world, they have to do it behind the scenes without getting caught. So it's technically not acceptable. So that's a little bit different. What about alcohol? There is like two different worlds. There's like the world of people becoming sober or that have become sober, and they're pressing sobriety through the culture. And then you got the other half that's just pressing, this cocktail looks beautiful, which is what I used to do, is just photograph cocktail after cocktail.
But that's another one of those things that doesn't make any sense, because alcohol's legal, and yet it kills far more people on a daily basis than weed does. And yet weed is still, a Schedule 2, something like that? It's slowly becoming legalized on a state level, but still the federal government won't be like, yeah, okay, do whatever you want. It doesn't make any sense.
Now, if I was smoking weed, I wouldn't be able to stay away from that food for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'll eat the whole house. I guess I'm really just like trying to dissect all this stuff and decide how are these, now you've got those powerhouse podcasters, the people that are, on their pedestals, or what do you call them, their high horses, whatever, and they're like,
soapbox.
If you want something, you gotta fucking do it. You gotta get out there, and if you don't want to eat that cookie, you don't eat that cookie. If you gotta get up at 3:30 in the morning, you gotta start your working out, and they, that's how their life is structured. It's by pain, and they love it. And they are pushing it, and they want other people to.
Which in my opinion, in and of itself, is an addict.
Another addiction.
It's another addiction. Yep. Yeah. They get high off the pain of pushing themselves farther and farther every day beyond what they can actually handle. Which is fine, because then they can handle more and more every day. But I don't know, it's weird.
But their capacity only lies within one realm. Really, you talk about talking about their emotions. It might be a whole different game.
I mean, as far as social acceptance goes, I guess if you're going to be addicted to something, be addicted to something that's good for you.
Like what?
Like working out and cold showers and.
Okay, but so even though that could be,
but it's still hard to drop all those other addictions. It's still hard to stay away from the shit that is bad for you.
So if I'm moving from addiction to addiction to addiction, like let's say I get rid of one, I go on to another vice, I get rid of that one, I go on to another. Is it possible for somebody to have no vices and no addictions?
So.
No,
I don't think so.
Why not?
Personally, I don't believe that's even possible. That's why they say everybody's got skeletons in their closet. There's always something. There's always that one thing, because people are addicted to dopamine. That's just how it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care if he fucking puts on a white collar and carries a Bible to work on Sundays. He's got something.
I mean, I've seen people have religious addictions like crazy, like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, there's that too.
I mean, I had a dad that I couldn't speak to about anything real as far as my life was concerned. But if we talked about the Bible, man, he was.
Oh, he was all into it.
Had lots to say. Yeah.
No, I just mean that it doesn't matter who it is, and what they look like on the outside. Everybody's got something that they're addicted to. Now, does that necessarily mean that it's a bad thing? Maybe not. Like we're talking about guys or people in general who are addicted to working out, and they're addicted to that pain.
Do you ever say you wish you were?
I mean, sometimes.
Me too.
Yeah. That would be fantastic.
Right? I wish that was my addiction.
I was jacked and looked like Conor McGregor and just couldn't get enough of it. I mean, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I've always wanted to.
But then I also see that guy and I'm like, wow, what a fucking douche.
I just watched that.
I would never hang out with that guy.
Cheesy movie Roadhouse?
We just watched it last night.
What'd you think? Did they make it cheesy on purpose? Was it supposed to kind of have the same vibe as the original?
I don't know. It was hard to buy Jake Gyllenhaal as Dalton. I think he did okay. I liked how they played up his whole just smile and nod like personality the whole time. Like that was actually pretty sweet.
Conor McGregor was cast perfectly.
He was, yeah, because he's a big fucking douchebag, and that's who that character was. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I mean, it fits. But the CGI stuff that they did, awful. It was horrible. Like I've seen better on like 1980s movies.
Don't you hate when they put so much money into the buildup of a movie like they did with this one? I was actually really excited to see it because the way they first started portraying it was that we were going to see a real fight.
Oh yeah,
between Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
and I was actually really excited about that. So they worked my brain in a weird way.
Yeah,
I was excited to see a fight, and then it was like that slowly over months, it kind of like transitioned into wait, they're in a movie called Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And then Post Malone, how awful was that?
I recognized him right off the bat at the beginning of it. I was like, motherfucker, that's Post Malone. And then they're playing his song as the opening song to the movie, and I was like, oh, that's totally Post Malone.
I thought that was a bit much.
Yeah,
especially since he didn't make another appearance.
Oh right,
that was it.
Yeah, it was just him at the beginning. He's like, are you fighting him?
And he didn't look tough at all.
No, he didn't. He looked like,
hey, who do we know that
like
has
Post
tats? He probably said, I'll let you open with that song if I can make an appearance.
Yeah, right. That was his payment for using his song. Yeah. Which, I mean, the song actually was not bad.
I don't remember the song.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know what the name of it was.
Is it a newer one?
I think so.
Okay. Well,
it was decent. I don't know. The movie itself, it was okay. I absolutely hate remakes. There are several, if not almost all, that I've never watched just because I'm like, no, you're never going to beat the original. Fuck you. You're going to screw it up like you do with everything else. But this one, though, just for the simple reason that they cast Jake Gyllenhaal in it, I was like, no fuck, really? Brokeback Mountain's going to be kicking ass? And I also appreciated the fact that, I mean, he got fucking jacked for that movie. I was like, all right. Like, he put in some serious work to take that role. Like, all right, I'll see what this is about.
Yeah, he was CGI'd.
You think so?
No.
You think they had
no, because I told you they had me guessing, or they had me thinking they were going to have some fight.
Yeah. Which
actually I think that would be really cool if they still did that.
I mean, it's really not impossible.
No, if you train, well, he had to have trained to some extent.
Yeah, but I mean, if they put him in a chroma suit, you know, they could literally just CGI his head onto another body.
Oh yeah.
You know, they do it all the time now.
Well, remember Captain America?
I never saw the Marvel movies. Yeah.
Oh well,
I could never get into comic book movies that much.
I can't remember who the actor was, but they had to give him a smaller, like unbuilt body to start the movie before he went through his transformation.
Oh, so his like jacked, body was like, and they were like
CGI.
Yeah, we need you to be more of a wuss.
Mm-hmm. And was that guy?
Well, they did that with the first new Star Wars movie that came out like a few years ago, back I think it was 2012 or something like that. When they brought back Carrie Fisher. And it was like a 10-second scene that she was in. And I remember being in the theater, and when she came on screen, the entire theater went, oh, like everybody was so like surprised because it looked exactly like her.
She the first
from
Leia?
Back in the 70s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Leia. And everybody was so like, oh my God. And then there was several other characters from the original Star Wars that they brought back. But the way that they did it was they go through like archive footage, everything they can find that these people were ever in, and the computer scans their faces and their profiles and how they move and all that stuff, and then you just find another actor who has a similar build as that person, and then you CGI their face on there, so face swapping.
I feel like they did that with a Tom Cruise movie. He was like,
I think so.
Two different Tom Cruises in the movie.
Something like that, yeah.
When they do a lot of like past, present, or time travel.
Yeah. There's a guy on YouTube who does it himself. He face swaps Tom Cruise's face onto himself because he looks almost exactly like him anyway.
Seen that. Yeah.
And then he's like gotten his mannerisms and his crazy talking and stuff down, and so he'll do fake like movie scenes or interviews as Tom Cruise. And that's one of the things I've seen where people now are getting all weirded out by all the CGI and the face swapping stuff, because they're like, well, if that guy can pretend to be Tom Cruise and looks exactly like him and can say and do whatever he wants, and a lot of people will believe it's Tom Cruise, then anyone can do that for anyone. And so it's got a lot of people.
It's already happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you've seen all those CGI'd where they're saying that this guy's going to fight this guy.
I never saw it.
Who's the Zuckerberg versus Elon
I heard
Musk
about that. I heard about
Was that actually a real thing?
I believe it was, yeah, that they were going to fight, and Elon was all about it. So
because Elon's trained, right, for most of his life.
And so what I read in several different places was that Elon actually did train, and like he's done some jujitsu and stuff before in his lifetime, but he actually did want to fight Zuckerberg, and it was supposedly going to happen. And Zuckerberg was all like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do this. And then he bitched out at some point, probably because some lawyer or something of his was like, this could be an insurance nightmare and blah, blah, blah. You're a billionaire. You're worth so much. You have so much to lose. It could look bad for your reputation. And all. I'm sure there was some horseshit where they talked him into bowing out. But Elon was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. I'm all about it. Let's do it.
They would have made a pretty penny, both of them.
I know, right? It would have been fantastic.
Your face would have healed.
You'll get over it.
Have you ever been in a fight?
Have I ever been in a fight? Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
I'm never really a big fighter. I was always more of a
lover.
No, just more of a try to talk your way out of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I can't fight. I mean, I can. I just choose not to. I'd prefer not to get my face beat.
Well, it seems like the new trend, fad, whatever, is jiu-jitsu. Everybody's rolling around.
Yeah. Which I do kind of want to get into that too.
You do?
Yeah. I just don't feel like I'm in the right shape to get started with it. But then I also think like, well, when am I ever going to be unless I actually do it?
I see. That's why I was telling a guy the other day from our group that I don't want to start working out.
Yeah.
Because I'm 100 steps behind them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be proficient at it. Usually I don't put myself in situations where I'm absolutely going to suck or even hold the group back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I've been wanting to go to the one that Brandon's been doing.
That's the one.
Yeah. But I mean, and I talked to him about
brutal.
I talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, it's not we just show up and do what you can do and follow along. And
yeah, but he still showed off this last time, I don't know.
I haven't gone.
It's not showing off.
I haven't even gone to
a lot of weight.
Yeah, I'm sure he can. But see, that's the thing though, is I'm not going to get held back by that. Like I might show up there and sure, he's lifting like, 300 plus. Cool. Good for him. He can do that. I can't. I'm going to stick to what I can do. And I may be a little intimidated by watching him do that, but I'm also going to look at that as if I actually busted my ass and trained long enough, I could do that. So it's more inspiring.
You busting ass?
Yeah. So to me, I mean, I look at that and yeah, it's a little intimidating, but I see it as more inspiring. At least that's how I try to look at stuff like that.
God,
I don't.
That's an insecurity thing for me then, because when I see somebody that's very good at something, it doesn't naturally make me want to try to get to that level, and naturally it makes me go, wow, I'll never be to that level. And
I understand that because I used to think the same way, but just at some point, I don't know what it was. I switched something. And now I don't look at it as, oh, I could never do that. I look at it as, do I really want to do that? No. I respect that they can do that, and that's awesome. And if I really wanted to and I tried hard enough, I probably could, but I don't want to.
So what if he said to you, when you came in there and he said, wow, you've got a structure that I could really take someplace, and you could be lifting whatever, 250 pounds, deadlift in 2 months. Would that get you motivated?
I mean, maybe.
See, that would work the opposite for me.
It might intrigue me enough to the point where I would go along with it just to see what happens, which in turn could become a thing for me where I have a real purpose behind going and working out every day. And that's my problem, is I don't have a huge why. And obviously
you don't have an end goal.
Right. And obviously your why should be your health and all that stuff, which I totally understand. And I 100% agree with that. And I do want to work out more and lose, 50 extra pounds that I'm packing around that I don't need. Like I do need to get out into the gym and just work out. My problem is I fucking hate working out. I absolutely disdain it.
So I'm in a similar realm. Like when I used to walk, I'd go into the gym, and I've had a membership there for like, I don't know how many years.
Yeah, I have one at Peak that I never use.
But I walk past the basketball court, and every time, just like the food thing, I have that decision to make.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, that basketball court looks so good right now.
Right.
You know why? Because I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. I'm like, and then I start justifying it. And I start saying, well, I'm proficient at that. I can work out. It's cardio. I can smile. It'll be good for my brain all day. And so then I end up playing basketball, skip the weights. The weights are hard for me. So I have started lifting a little bit, and I don't want Brandon to hear this, but I do enjoy it. But I enjoy it on my level. Yeah. So if I could take your mentality into the gym, and so Brandon had said, oh, wow, hey, we could do something with your frame. You could go places.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought, like, no more Mr. Nice Guy, people pleaser mode. I was like, okay, now somebody expects something of me. So I've got to perform. I've got to get to this place so that they're happy with me. Instead, you would just be like, I don't know. I don't really need to do all that.
I think it's more so because I know exactly where you're coming from with the No More Mr. Nice Guy stuff. Like, I read the same book you did. So, like, I used to be that same way too. And the one thing I took from that the most, first off, was learning how to say no. And that I have mastered at this point. Like,
you say it too much.
If I don't, I probably do.
You do.
Yeah. If I don't want to do it, then it's nope.
Yeah.
Convince me why I should. If you want me to do it, convince me why I should. And it's probably a bad thing. I probably have gone a little too far the other way.
Unpack that real quick. So if somebody says, or you say, convince me why I should, why would they care if you joined in or not?
Oh, exactly.
No, why would they? What's the real answer? Is it because they really see potential in you? They want the best for you?
Sure. Yeah. It could be because they want the best for me, or that. But even seeing somebody's potential, just because I think you would be the greatest dog catcher ever doesn't mean that you want to do that. And just because I want you to be the greatest dog catcher ever, because that's what you could be, doesn't mean that I have a right to try and manipulate you or force you into doing that just because I believe you would be the best. Doesn't matter. Like, there's people out there who would be the best lawyers and the best doctors and whatever else, but instead of doing that, they choose to live a life of absolute normalcy and work in a factory their entire life and retire from that,
Don't you think to some extent that people walk around and when they meet people, or maybe even when they gravitate towards a person and they like them, they start subconsciously trying to create themselves in that person?
Yeah, absolutely.
You could totally be more like me if you...
Right. Yeah, you're living vicariously through somebody else when you recognize some potential in them that you have, but you couldn't quite, hack it, I guess.
It'd be interesting to see if you went around this world and did the opposite and said, I kind of like you. Like, I wonder what I could learn from you.
Yeah.
And that's how you went into it.
Right. And that's how I try to go into things in situations like that, is if it's something that I'm really interested in, or I get interested in it because somebody happens to tell me all about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. Then I look at it as, well, I want to know more about it. I want to know as much as I can, but I'm not going to force anybody to do something, and I'm not going to try to manipulate people into doing the best they can with their potential, because what if they don't want to?
And what if that's not the best for them?
True. Yeah. What if even though they could be the greatest dog catcher ever, the stress from doing that because they don't really want to do it kills them or turns them into an alcoholic and they drink themselves to death, or they start hitting the pipe and they're smoking rocks every night, and then they get into coke, and then it's a downhill thing into heroin, and God knows what after that, and then they're dead.
Wow.
I mean, that's a big stretch, but yeah.
I'm just saying, there's a commonality. I think everybody could agree that we all need to be moving in some capacity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In some capacity. I was walking, running, weights, hiking. I mean, I don't really care what it is, but our generation doesn't have to move as much because we have computers. We're able to move at the speed of light without moving anything but our fingers.
Yeah.
And our eyeballs.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't really. I was thinking about how you and I would approach the same person differently. Because I would approach that person, and I know I've done this recently, and I would try and make them think like me. And you would approach the person, and you would just try and find out more about them. It's very interesting. I mean, it's not, I want to. I'm aware of what I do. I'm aware of how it is. And I have to ask myself all the time, why do you care so much? What that person's doing, thinking, saying, feeling. Why do you care so much?
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that too, though. You know, I've gone into something with somebody before thinking, oh, well, you know, if only you saw what I saw, then maybe you would think different. And then it's, you know, you push too hard to try and get them to understand what it is that you see in them and how you think about them and what, you know, oh, well, you could do this, or you would be better, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I am guilty of that too. And so that's why I try hard not to do it. And that's why when somebody comes to me and says, you know, you have great potential, you could do this, but all you got to do is these things. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I appreciate that. Thanks. I'll take that into consideration. No, but you don't understand. Like, no, I do understand. Thank you. I appreciate your input. No, but you really need to, okay, now you're overstepping. Go fuck yourself.
And it'd be one thing if you went to somebody and said, here's my problem. Yeah. You said it 5 times in a row. Here's my problem. Here's my problem. Here's my problem. And they were like, well, here's your solution. Here's your solution, you know?
Yeah.
And you're not taking it.
Yeah. My only problem is people.
Well, you only have one problem?
Oh, no. I guess that's not true. One of my problems is touche.
My only problem.
So when somebody comes and asks for help with something, if you ask me for help with something, I'm going to give you solutions, and I'm going to try to give you, based on whatever I know about it, some kind of a plan to maybe help you shift your mindset, or, you know, whatever it is I can possibly think of. And that's what I'm going to give you. You know, if somebody wants help and they ask for it, well, I'm going to give it to you, but I can only give you what I can give you. And again, I'm not a doctor.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychotherapist. Like, none of that. So all I have to go on is my own experience. And I have enough issues of my own keeping myself in line and not eating a cookie and not, you know, whatever. Like,
so let's say you want to get jacked. Do you go to somebody that's jacked and say, hey, can you help me get jacked?
Yeah.
Or do you go to somebody else?
If I wanted to get jacked, I would go to Brandon, or I would go to Alex, or I would go to one of those guys, and I would say, hey, look,
I'm right here, asshole.
I want to get to this place.
You didn't say you'd come to me.
Well, okay, whatever. I'm just saying, like, somebody who has far more experience.
My pace would be more manageable.
Maybe. Somebody who has far more experience than myself, I would go to them and I would say, hey, I want to get in better shape. What do I need to do?
That was a loaded question because I already had an answer for myself. I wouldn't go to anybody that was militant, dictatorish, you know, dictatorish. Can I say that? Dictatorish. I just wouldn't go to somebody that was going to yell at me, tell me what to do, was not coming at me with a sense of curiosity as to what was going to get me
right
into that realm is as seamless as possible. Whereas I know a lot of the guys that I've, you know, watched these big physical, I don't know, like the Rogans. Who's a better example? And we got a local guy here that, you know, obviously is pumped iron his entire existence and eats everything just right, I'm sure. But the way he talks to you, I would never be able to listen or apply that. But he's jacked.
Right.
So if I wanted to get jacked, would I go to somebody like that and be yelled at? I don't think I'd be very receptive. I just want him dead the whole time.
And that's one of those things where the person who's going to help you has to be able to understand, if they're going to help you, how you learn. And this is something that I've recently had, you know, an experience with Rachel, my girlfriend, because I'm trying to teach her, you know, how to play a game, and I don't understand what it is she's asking of me because it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm trying to teach her, but it's like, well, this is how you do this. She's like, no, but I need you to let me do this way so that I can get it down. And then, you know, it doesn't matter how you understand it. It's you have to give the person what it is they're asking for, because that's how they learn. So when you go to this person and you say, hey, I want to train, I want to get in better shape, blah, blah, blah. If you tell them up front, you're like, this is what I need from you. Like, give me advice, show me how to lift weights, show me how to do this and what weights I should be lifting, and, give me a plan, but don't yell at me. Don't, make me feel stupid for not doing something or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you need to give them up front, this is what I need because this is how I learn. If you act like a militant asshole, I'm not going to listen to you.
Right. And I was picturing how that would go down. And the militant asshole would say, this is exactly what you need. You don't need somebody to sugarcoat things or baby you or be passive with their words. Yeah. You need somebody that's going to, get results. Which I also agree with. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because so that's another thing to look at. If someone's asking for your help, then they either want your help or they don't. So as long as they're upfront with, hey, this is how I learn, so this is what I need you to show me, okay. But if they can't handle it, even though you're doing exactly what they asked for, then that's on them. And then that's when it is like, well, you're kind of being a fucking baby. Like, I'm showing you exactly what you need to know, and I'm telling you exactly the way that you asked me to tell you and show you, and you're still being a bitch about it. Do you ever wonder who you'd be if you went into the military and they broke you down? And then, so you'd still have your core personality, your core values and principles and things, but they break you down essentially to where you see and handle authority differently. I ask you that because I wonder, because I've grown up, I was raised by a single mom, and I didn't have a very masculine dad after that. Yeah. And so I've never really gone through that. And then now I'm like, I don't handle strong men very well. At least ones that come at me with no sort of, not empathy necessarily, but it's like whatever they say, it doesn't have a soft landing at all. That's an interesting thought. Because I'm in the same boat. I was raised by a single mom, but I didn't even have any dad in the house, like nothing. So the only male figures that I had were like my friends' dads, or like my brother and his friends who were older than me. So like my main influence was this kid who was like my best friend. And I knew his whole family, like we grew up together. We always hung out together like almost every day. So his grandfather was an old, just tough as nails, old Navy guy, and we used to rebuild cars with him together and do all kinds of stuff, go fishing. And I mean, that's who I learned all of my manly lessons from, was that guy. And not all of them were great, because he was kind of a douchebag too. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of my male influences that I had. Yeah. I grew up in religion, so kind of generalizing, but it was a bunch of soft males. And so I guess I just wonder if I went into the military and, they broke this shit out of me that I'm like scared of. I'm scared for a guy to yell at me because I might get mad. Yeah. Like, what if that was broken down? I mean, how receptive would I be? Would I be jacked right now? Would I not be talking to you about my sugar addictions? Would I be getting shit done? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I know I myself have a big problem with authority. Like, I don't like people telling me what to do. You also work for the man, so you don't have a huge problem and that's different though. I'm okay with it as long as I'm getting paid. Like, if you're paying me to do it, I'll do whatever you want, as long as it ain't gonna kill me. That's fine. But other than that, don't tell me what to do ever. I need to go to a personal trainer that's gonna pay me. Perfect. Well, I mean, again, that's still different. If I'm paying a personal trainer to tell me how to get into shape, I'm going to listen to them most of the time. And the crazy part is, if you went in and paid that money, you're already like almost there. Yeah. Your willingness is right there. Yeah. I have learned a lot of lessons over time through having experiences of being too hard-nosed one way or the other. And I've learned from those things to kind of broaden more of that resistance to authority. Like, not everything can just be black and white. Like, I still have an issue with being told what to do. Yes. But I also am a lot better at taking a second to breathe and like,
okay, well, there's a reason why they're telling me to do this. And I can be like, hey, look, you can ask me to do anything, and more than likely I'll do it. But you start doling out orders, and it's not going to go well for you. If I go to a trainer and I say, hey, I need you to tell me what to do to get in shape, and don't let me be a bitch about it, then that's me asking them to be hard on me. And so I have to accept that I've asked them for that. If I ask someone to be hard on me, then that's on me, and I have to take it. Or I can say, yeah, you know what, this isn't for me, and I quit and walk away. But if I'm asking for it, I'm asking for it, and I accept that.
And that's what she said. I mean, I'm not saying no.
Yeah, I used to be a lot worse. And like any show of someone trying to, force something on me or whatever, I would just lose my mind. And it's like, well, you can't be that way, especially if you've asked for it, then it's on you.
So you just have learned not to ask for it.
I mean, in a sense,
unless you're ready for the answer.
Yeah, but I'm either more upfront with people about things and try to communicate better on that level. I mean, I'm shit for communication in most things, but things like that, I've gotten better at. Or I just remember that, well, this is what I asked for. So
I truly believe that people are in love with my potential. And that could be a projection as well. Maybe I'm in love with my potential.
You have such great potential, Brady.
Oh, people are wanting to get me on this or get me on that or fix this or fix that, when I think maybe that's because the energy that I put off is still kind of that nice guy mentality. Like, fix me, help me. Like, what can you show me?
I don't know. I don't get that from you.
You don't?
No, I think you're just... I just get a positive vibe from you. I think you're a very positive, outgoing person. And so people like to be around.
I've never been accused of that.
That's what I think. Yeah.
I'm telling you about this like sugar shit. This is like no joke. I have a serious addiction.
You are, though. That's what I see. Just a positive, outgoing person that likes people. You're far more of a social butterfly than I am. I have to force myself to be social most of the time. And once I've gotten it's like working out. Once I go out and I hang out with people and I socialize and all that, like, I'm exhausted afterwards, but I feel good because I went out and I did that, right? And maybe I've made a new friend, or maybe maybe I've networked a little bit with somebody, and I've hooked up something to do a podcast, whatever. But I'm still exhausted because it's fucking people.
I'm realizing that let me back up from the. I was in reverse. I'm realizing that the certain situations in which I do get exhausted versus not. There it is again. When I go out and I meet with somebody that I'm trying to be something for, I'm exhausted.
Oh yeah.
So whether I'm getting paid for it or not, so if it's for my job or whatever, but if I'm not totally myself with that person, I'm exhausted.
Yep.
But I went on a hike recently with a guy that I didn't have to smile around or entertain or anything because he didn't smile.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to entertain me. And I remember like getting done with the hike going, man, I'm not tired. I'm not exhausted from that conversation because I just got to relax and be myself. And sometimes myself is very serious, and I've put out into the world that I'm this like silly, jovial guy, and I'm not always silly and I'm not always jovial. So I have to go home and like rest my face. Like I won't smile at the kids even, or the dog or whatever. I just need to like sit there and let my body melt down so I can get ready for the next social event. Which could just be going to the coffee shop. But I agree with you. I can go for like 30 minutes somewhere, have an interaction with somebody where I'm not completely myself, and I am just, I'm wiped. I'm ready to go back home. So I've changed quite a bit since the first time you met me as far as social goes.
Yeah.
I still love being social, but I just like it around certain people. And so my energy, what do you call it? When you like my intuition, I immediately read somebody's energy and decide, my body says, yeah, we can stay engaged with this person, or no, let's get out of this situation, which is really cool because in the past I would have just stayed in that situation and just like grit and bared it. Now I'm just like, I'm going to go. And they go, oh, why? Where do you have to go? I'm like, nowhere. I'm going to go.
Like nowhere. I'm just done talking to you.
I don't say that. But I definitely have gotten better at just exiting a situation because ultimately nobody cares. Like once you leave, they might think about you for 30 seconds and then they're back to their own problems.
Yeah.
And they're thinking about what they got going on for their situation, their decisions that they have to make in their interactions. And
Right.
it's interesting how teenagers,
Unless they're a petty fuck and all they care about is everybody else's problems because they don't want to deal with their own.
dude, that was when you said petty fuck. I was like, what is a petty fuck? And then,
Not a pity fuck.
well, I was like, when you said it, I heard pedophile, so I just, I just made up a new word. I think it's a great one, petty fuck.
Petty fuck.
Yeah, but yeah. So what did you? Unless you are a petty fuck, what were you saying? What was your context?
Unless you're a petty fuck that only wants to focus on everybody else's problems because they don't want to deal with their own.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they'll continue to think about that time where you walked away from a conversation.
Oh, and they bring it up a year down the road. Oh, oh my God.
Yeah. Or they just like try to stick it to you later in some way,
Oh, you just say, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Walk away. You're done.
Yeah. Right.
I just think I'm trusting my intuition a lot more than I used to.
Well, and that's the great thing about just being yourself, not trying to please other people.
I don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah. I'm still learning.
Have you ever talked to somebody that laughs at what they say every time they say something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, they're way into themselves and they think that they're the funniest thing on the planet.
Well, and I think it's more of like a nervous tick than anything.
You think so?
Yeah, but it causes me to do this the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that wasn't even that funny. And I'm like laughing. But now I'm 10 times more exhausted after this conversation than I was before.
Yeah, that's a tough one because usually I won't laugh anymore. I'll just be like,
You don't strike me as a people pleaser.
I'm not.
You said you still have some of the nice guy tendencies.
I do. There are times where I will catch myself.
Is it with her? The girl?
No, not generally. No. I mean, I'm sure there are things.
Your
but
mom?
No.
Who? Who's your weak link? Like who?
New people usually, just people in general.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to invest too much into new people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be what you need to be and then get out. But if they're going to be anything like a fixture in your life, you're probably going to put a different kind of energy into it.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, if it's just an acquaintance, who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just every once in a while where like I'm in a conversation with somebody or whatever, and I'll say something a certain way or say something at all, that's kind of like because I know they want to hear it. And then later I think about it and I'm like, oh, God, that was disgusting.
Yep.
Instead of just being like, you're a fucking wuss. What's your problem?
You just lied to that person. That's what I have to tell myself. Why did you lie to that person? You don't want to do that. You don't want to go there.
Yeah. But I mean, it's another one of those double-edged swords where you don't want to be an asshole to people. You do want to have empathy and you do want to be understanding if someone's having a rough time or whatever it is, even if they're super happy because they just got laid or something, who knows, whatever it is, you don't want to wreck that for them. You want to be empathetic to that. But I also don't want to change everything I am in my mindset just to make you happy in that moment.
Yeah.
So I want to be happy for you, but I'm sorry. I honestly don't really care.
And I believe you when you say that. There was a time when I was at the bar by myself, having some top shelf whiskey for some reason. I don't know why I was by myself. The bar was very empty. So obviously a sad situation.
Yeah.
These 3 people walked in, and then one was dressed as Santa Claus, and then there was 2 ladies. And I was trying to figure out who was with who, There was kind of like a better looking one of the women. And I was kind of hoping that she was, not taken. Yeah. So I was watching them for a bit and I couldn't figure it out. So I went up to them and just said, hey, you guys want to play some pool? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we went back, started playing some pool. And then the 2 that were a couple, luckily, this is kind of where they peeled off the 3-way, and the girl that I was more interested in was
2 girls that were a couple?
No,
2
guy and a girl. Santa Claus and his girl.
Gotcha.
And so they were like, we're gonna go buy drinks, so you guys can just chat while we go buy drinks. So they went back to the bar, and we were back playing pool. And I didn't know what to say. I'm just trying to get to know this girl, and I'm like, hey, I'm a photographer, and here's my Instagram. And she's like, put that away. I don't want to see what you do. I want to get to know you for you. And
okay.
I I was kind of offended because, I've put like 85% of my life into my work. So it's basically, it's part of who I am, I think. Right. And so I just made up something on the spot. And I said, you know what, lady? I was like, hey, listen, that I'm sorry for bringing up the photography thing, but that's really just a cover for what I really do. You want to know what I really do? I own a business called friendbuilder.com. And your friends that are buying us drinks hired me to come in this evening and enhance your guys' experience for the night.
You really told her that?
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I was mad.
How did that go?
She asked me a bunch of questions, and I was like on my sharpest game. I was firing back all the right answers, when she was asking. And
it's like, you want to know what I really do? I work for the CIA.
I think friendbuilder.com is a little more believable, but because the CIA guy would never say that. But
anyway, see if that's a real thing.
What, friendbuilder.com? Oh, geez, this could be nasty.
I'll bet. Well, yeah, that's true. That could be friendbuilder.com.
Oh, we're having trouble finding that site.
I guess not real. Did I spell it right?
IND? Yeah, I think you did.
Okay. Doesn't exist. Not yet.
Well, shoot. I guess if the domain's still available, I might consider that. Anyway, we were talking about when you have an interaction with somebody, how like authentic you are, Yeah. So I just went into this like role playing mode with this girl because I was like, you don't want to know who I really am? I'll tell you who I want you to think I am then. Yeah. Anyway, the couple came back with the drinks and
well, I mean, how did she say it though? Was it just like, I really don't want to see her Instagram.
Offensive. No.
She was like
combative. She'd already had drinks. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's where a lot of people don't understand. It's not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it.
Right. Yeah, she absolutely could have said like, hey, I just really like our face-to-face energy right now, and I don't want to be distracted by, what you do for your profession right at the moment. Can I just can we just look at each other, get to know each other? I was like, damn, yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Can we just talk
about that way? Like, what is that? I was like, I don't want to stay your phone. Put away Instagram. God, why do you do that? I can't believe it. Let's play pool. Rock 'em.
Yuck.
I don't know how long I was going to go with that. Do you remember Jimmy Fallon's Ew?
I think so, yeah.
Dustin Hoffman. Ew. You just go through all these items and say ew.
Ew.
Yeah. And it was a whole show. I think it was Channing Tatum was on there.
Probably. He's been on everything.
And they were dressed as girls with braces. And
yeah.
It's great.
Oh, my God. Ew. Yeah.
Guys in a Garage podcast.
Yeah, I totally probably would have done the same thing. Like if she said it like that and she was all cunty, I was like, okay, you want to know what I really do?
When you said cunty,
I come to bars.
Me think of dictatorish.
See, I probably wouldn't have been as clever as you though. I would have been like, you want to know what I really do? Well, I come to bars and I find really bitchy women, and then I try to talk to them, and then once I realize how bitchy they are, I tell them to go fuck themselves, and then I walk away. Have a good night.
Let's not forget there was 4 people in the bar. I was one of them. I really wanted to have like some sort of interaction. I who knows what kind of a desperate position I was in.
Yeah.
But the friend builder was a little bit of a Hail Mary. It was kind of just for fun. Get some attention.
That was great though. That was good thinking. Friendbuilder.com. Your friends hired me to come here and enhance your evening.
Enhance your experience with you.
How did the rest of that conversation go?
Well, the couple came back. I don't remember all the questions she asked me because she was clearly trying to vet whether I was telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
And I was clear and concise. I remember just like, whoa. I'm just like,
see, that would have been great if she pulled out her phone and tried to look up friendbuilder.com, and then you would have been like, hey, whoa. Put that away.
I'm trying to get to know you.
I'm trying to get to know you, and you just want to pull out your phone in the middle of this conversation.
I think she was too drunk because she never even thought about that. I'm glad she didn't think about that. That would have been horrible. Anyway,
you'd have had to have been like, the website's down right now because we're doing server maintenance. But
we actually, due to the overwhelming popularity and demand, we had to shut down the site.
Like, I don't want to say how much I'm making right now, but I mean, let's just say it's good.
And she was like, take me home tonight. No, she didn't. But the friends came back. And she, of course, said right off the bat, "Hey, did you guys pay him to come in tonight?" And they're like, "No." And Santa and his girl were drunk too. So the
Did he look like Santa Claus?
he's just no. He's just dressed up in Santa garb. But anyway, so his girl, Santa's girl, was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you lied to her. You're such a liar." And she was going off on me for a while. And I was feeling like they were drunk enough to where I was like, whoa. Okay, stop for a second. Like, first of all, this was 10 minutes. It was a prank.
Yeah.
You know, let's all move on. Let's play some pool. It was just a joke, you know. Yeah. And it was like a few minutes later, and the girl is just, Santa's girl, she's just crying and apologizing to me. "I'm so sorry. I yelled at you, and I know you're just trying to have fun." And she's like, "And you can take my friend home if you want." And she she granted me permission to take her friend. Yeah. Anyway, it was a very interesting night. Yeah. I will not bore you with the details.
You got the green light from the girlfriend
that was super mad at me. Yeah.
I mean, did you take her home? I
didn't take her home. Okay. That's why I said I won't bore you with the details, but I did get a video that night of an owl carrying a rabbit across the road.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's way better than
I still have it.
Chick.
Yeah. I think I had her in my phone as beep at the bar, you know, but I have this cool video. So,
that would be a rad video. Yeah. What kind of owl, do you know?
No, I mean, I can show you the video. It's not going to help the listeners.
Oh, whatever.
Cool. We should probably wrap this up.
Oh yeah, you gotta go.
Talked enough nonsense.
It's fun though.
Someday we'll have to talk about something that betters the world in some capacity.
Do you feel like I was able to help you at all with your addictions?
Not even in the slightest.
Okay, that's good.
But you know what? Talking through it with a friend really makes me feel better. Okay, so last night I was driving home and I was on the phone with somebody. We started talking about snacks. And I don't know what came over me. Yeah, I do. Of course I do. Anyway, I was coming home from the gym, so I'd already played some basketball, about 15 minutes worth of basketball. So, I worked off at least 13 calories. So anyway, I decided to stop by Yolks based on this conversation I was having with this person. And I picked up graham crackers and popcorn and beef sticks, no less. Anyway, they were at the register. But I still, after I finished all of that shit, I wanted to drive out to Spokane. If you've ever been to Donut Parade.
I have not.
Oh
but
my
it
God.
Sounds awesome.
Oh my God. So it's been around since 1900 whatever. And it's open 24/7. It's in an old brick building on Monroe.
It's better than Krispy Kreme?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, it's incredible. Their maple bars are to die for. They're apple fritters, but then they have a lot of weird, funky shit too. You know, they'll have like pineapple fritters or jalapeno this or that. But just the straight up maple bars and the apple fritters. But anyway, I almost drove out there. I almost asked my daughter to go with me at 9 p.m. just to go get a damn donut. You think I would have driven out there and gotten a donut?
No,
Baker's dozen coming home.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to drive all the way out there and just get one donut.
Well, but I mean, you could drive all the way out there and get one donut, and if you're going with your kid, then maybe go hit a movie or something. Like, make it worth your time and the gas to drive over there, I guess.
You don't understand addiction.
I sure don't.
You know what? I thought about taking those drugs, but I decided to go to a movie instead.
No.
Isn't that how it usually goes? All right, I'm just going to take this one hit of smack, and then I'm going to go to the parade, and I'm going to do all this other stuff.
I'm just going to take the edge off.
Just a little bit. A gram.
Oh, shit, that tasted so good.
Yeah.
I could use a little more of that.
And then the next thing you know, you wake up in the back of an El Camino in Mexico with like 6 dead hookers, and you have no idea how the fuck you got there.
Hey, you know about friendbuilder.com? I can get you a promo code.
Do they rent El Caminos?
I might add that. Yeah, I might add that in there.
Yeah, you should do that.
We've got your stretch Camino out front.
Right?
Stretch Camino. It's just the back of the...
Yeah, it's just
the open back.
Just the open back.
The bed,
it's like 30 feet long.
Yeah.
And like one part of it is a hot tub. Another part of it is like an open pit, shag carpeted.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And so heavy, it just throws sparks because it's just dragging on the ground.
well, yeah, it's just lowered to the bump stops and it's on triple gold Dayton's. So it just throws sparks out the back the whole time it's going.
You know too much about this.
Da, 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 da. But then the very back, like the last at least 6.5 feet of it, you know, so we'll say Ford bed length is actual still truck bed. So I mean, it's utilitarian.
You can still go to the dump.
You can still haul garbage in it.
Perfect. Which is pretty much what you're doing after the night of the club anyway.
Yeah.
Hauling garbage. And jumping in the tub with it. And drinking champagne with it.
That's right.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I wish I could help you more.
You know what I'm going to go to after this?
Donut parade?
No, I can't. I don't have time, but, you know, I might think about it tomorrow.
Oh.
It's the best donut.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out now. You got me curious. No, we should go play some ball, though.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm serious.
Let's go.
I've mentioned it before and we never did it.
I play at the Croc all the time.
At the Croc? Okay. I've never been to the Croc, but...
Well, it costs us $10 to get you in just to... Where's my...
That's it? I'm down.
Well, just for a day pass, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go on a day when it's not like super packed.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I haven't played ball in a long time.
I go on Tuesday nights for open gym.
Tuesday nights for... Okay.
But we can maybe go on like... Well, you have work.
Well, I mean, I could go on...
You need to go on an evening, right?
Yeah, I could probably go on a
Or
Tuesday
Saturday.
night. Yeah, Saturdays would be good.
I'm actually shooting a bunch Saturday, but we
can go play some ball, and then where do you work out at?
Croc.
Okay.
And I just started with Brandon a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been wanting to do the one with Brandon. I kind of feel like a shit because I told him a while ago that I was going to do one of the Fridays, and then I totally forgot about it.
Are you going to? Friday's going to be tough. That's the Murph.
Well, yeah, that's like 6 in the morning.
6:45, but that's more of like the high intensity.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we do just heavy weights on there. The DT. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The DT on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, maybe a Thursday night then.
And I don't know about that one. No, Thursday night's the DT. I don't know what Tuesday nights are.
Yeah, I think Friday morning is the easier one.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't done any of them.
I'll go with you.
How would I know?
If you want to go,
yeah, I want to. I need to.
Let's go. Let's go this Friday. We'll go play basketball like Wednesday night, and then we'll go. Right.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how much I can handle.
We'll find out.
I'm just gonna have to push myself.
Okay.
What?
All right. Just keep getting. I keep getting an email that says something's been delivered that I've never gotten.
Oh.
But I keep getting an email. It's like, it's been delivered. I'm like, to who? Not to me.
Well, obviously not to you. All right. Well, Brady, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Talking about some addictions and bitchy women at a bar, fake websites.
And farts.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, that's how you'll know, right? The next gal that you date, the first time you go to her house just to hang out, just go take a shit.
That's how I'll know what?
That's how you'll know if she's cool.
Oh, jeez. That's how I'll know I'm cool.
No, so like, no, but it's the same thing as like, you know, the guy who asks you like, hey, do you like to party? Right? They're asking you so they know if you're cool. That's how you'll know she's cool. If you can just be like, man, I really got to use the bathroom. And you just go take a big old smelly dump.
Okay, last thing. What if I wanted to pee with the door open and she wasn't ready for all that?
See, I can understand that. But I mean, then again, who knows? If she's just like, yeah, it's kind of weird that you pee with the door open. Like, can you not do that? And you're just like, oh, okay.
That's what it was like.
But I mean, if you go in and like you're taking a shit and she just walks in, and she's like, oh my God, I really need to.
No, I'm locking the door.
Yeah.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shit.
Just don't. How do you put it? I mean, it's not necessarily so much of a test as it's just be comfortable and be who you are. Be yourself. And if they don't like it, you're going to know real fast. And if they don't like it, then they don't like you. And then it's a waste of your time to move any farther. Right?
Yep.
So for me, it was just kind of like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm tired of worrying about what everybody else thinks. So I was just, fuck it, I got to take a shit. Hey, I got to go take a shit. I'll be back. And I went and did my thing. And it was like, came back out. She's like, oh, how'd it go in there?
You're like, you're still here.
Yeah, you're still here. You're not gagging and you're not trying to leave.
On that note, thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Just be yourself, Brady. Be who you are.
I'll work on it.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Appreciate all of you too. Have a great week and keep on grinding. Bye, everybody.